Schedule a free design consultation, and the more you buy, the more you'll save on blinds, shades, shutters, and more from Budget Blinds. Visit budgetblinds.com today.
Good evening. We begin tonight north of Lloydminster, where a 40-year-old Onion Lake woman had to be airlifted to a Saskatoon hospital yesterday after a single vehicle rollover. This was a scene on a Township Road 797 as police say a black 2000 Pontiac Grand Prix was traveling west when the driver lost control and rolled the vehicle. All the occupants from Onion Lake sustained various injuries and were taken to hospital. A 29-year-old female driver sustained minimal injuries and was eventually released from care. Police say alcohol is considered to be a factor in the crash. The name of the driver is not being released at this time as formal charges have not been sworn. And RCMP are investigating a series of mischiefs and thefts at a business east of Lloydminster last Friday and Saturday. The business near Highway 303 has portable buildings on its property. Maidstone RCMP responded to reports that components had been removed and stolen from them. If you have any information about that, you're asked to call Maidstone RCMP at 306-893-4800 or Saskatchewan Crime Stoppers. Since 2008, the local men's shelter has seen a steady increase in homelessness. The Lloydminster Social Action Coalition Society hopes to complete their transitional housing project known as Gibney House by spring.
We're at full capacity, 28 beds.
With the men's shelter at capacity every night, they turn many people away. The Gibney House will be an 8-room residence with rent around $450 for men who are working an entry-level job and can't afford a place to live.
Once we get Gibney House up and running, the affordable housing complex, hopefully this spring or summer, our future plans would be to either expand on that building, or there's been talk in the community about some type of an emergency shelter for women.
Almost 10 years ago, Lloydminster tried to become part of Alberta's 10-year plan to end homelessness, but we're about a year too late, and finding the funds can be difficult, especially when it comes to federal grants.
Sometimes Lloydminster is too small to fit the larger city grants, and we're too big of a community to fit the rural granting funding streams.
However, Harris says residents, churches, and corporations in Lloydminster constantly keep up and provide a large amount of support. Over the past 4 years, the Pink Shirt Anti-Bullying campaign has raised more than $12,000 for local charity groups. This year, the shirts are on sale again with the hopes of reaching even more people. Jeremy Thompson reports.
It all started 7 years ago when some high school students in the Maritimes wore pink shirts to show support for a student who'd been bullied for doing the same.
It went viral across the internet, and we were able to get involved in the second year of the campaign here in Lloydminster.
The Beyond the Hurt Respect Ed group, both at Lloyd Comp and Holy Rosary High Schools, were given part of the proceeds from last year's campaign to pay for anti-bullying training from the Red Cross.
We can get the most work done when we're working with the younger kids. You know, once you're up in the higher grades, it's kind of hard to get through to people, but, you know, being these older kids, we can kind of inspire the younger kids to, you know, just be nice to each other.
Alyssa Wells is passionate about anti-bullying. She's been involved with groups like this one since she was in grade 6.
School is a place where you should go and be safe and kind of escape everything that might be going on in your outside world and your home life. So you should always feel like you're safe and accepted here.
The shirts are being sold at co-op gas bars in the city. $1 from every shirt and $2 from every hoodie will go towards the Lloydminster Community Youth Centre's anti-bullying program, as well as to support the Beyond the Borders Concerned Citizens group, so people like Alyssa can continue to educate.
Making sure that everybody knows about the different programs that we have, like even just here at LCHS, you know, the different counselors and stuff that we have that people can talk to, and just having a general feeling of support for everybody that could be going through something right now.
Anti-Bullying Day falls on February 25th, and all area schools, businesses, and families are invited to participate.
We're not so naive as to think that wearing a pink shirt really makes a difference, but it does make a difference in the sense that we start having people think about it and talk about it.
Everyone in the border city is encouraged to support the campaign. Even the Bobcats will be joining in when they host their Pink to the Rink night on February 21st. Fans and the Cats alike will don their pink shirts to support the anti-bullying campaign. I have mine already. Reporting for Newcap News, I'm Jeremy Thompson.
It was a $350 million project. Miller Western wanted to start a pulp mill near the town of Meadow Lake 20 years ago. And as Annika Notveit reports in this week's Retrospect, there was an outcry from locals.
This is Meadow Lake in 1990. With a slump in agriculture, the proposed mill was a chance for economic recovery.
The numbers are impressive. 120 jobs in the mill, about 100 in the woodlands, and up to 450 jobs at peak construction.
So with that many people moving into town for one, it's going to benefit everybody.
And Miller Western will not only pump $250 million into the mill, the company also says it will hire the vast majority of its workers locally. 400 people jammed the Civic Center last week to hear how the company feels this mill will affect them environmentally. Miller Western President Mac Miller didn't downplay the job aspect of it. He also wasn't shy about the mill environmentally. Miller simply says this will be the cleanest mill in the world, using a closed-loop system to keep effluent within the mill. On the issue of clear-cut logging, the company's chief forester says they'll plant more than they cut and ensure wildlife habitat isn't destroyed. And while this crowd seemed receptive to the company's environmental pitch, there were some tough questions as well. This is the Beaver River. Miller Western will pump effluent into this river for up to 2 years. This is also a pretty good example of this whole environmental struggle. The company claims the effluent will have no effect on fish in this river, and they have studies to back that up. There are people who believe in those studies, and also in Miller Western's integrity as a company. But there are those who at the very least want independent studies done on the effects of effluent on fish in this river and on all the other environmental impacts of a project this huge in their backyard. Rosa Eberhardt says she's heard it all before. Eberhardt is from Whitecourt, where Miller Western owns another pulp mill.
We were promised an odor-free mill, and all we got is stink, and the problem has not been solved yet.
Eberhardt also brought along a souvenir from Whitecourt, fly ash that she says rains down on her town.
You have no escape from it.
Ed Doyle is worried similar problems are in store for Meadow Lake.
They've got major problems right now in Whitecourt, a dirty town, from a nice clean town to a dirty town.
They've also got to convince the people of Saskatchewan that the mill is as environmentally sound as they say.
The company broke ground that year 120 kilometers from Meadow Lake. That's all for Retrospect with Anna Knotbait.